Hello, my name is Jason Wilkinson, and the next video you're going to see is really interesting. But to understand why it's interesting, you have to understand a little bit about robotics, and that's why I am here. So I took a class on robotics back in college about 7 or 8 years ago, and I forgot almost all of it. So I had to go back and read up a little bit. But what I read about made the video a little bit more interesting. So to start off with, we need a little bit of vocabulary. And I'm going to use my arm to compare to the robot, because that's probably the easiest way to understand it. The robot that you're going to see in the video has about maybe 3 or 4 different links to it, and joints on it. And joints are kind of like our arms. So if we assume the end of the robot, or the tip, is called an end effector, that could be my hand. So if I pull out my hand, you can see that as my hand has a certain position in space. And this is the location of the end effector on a robot. And calculating that location is done through a variety of means. You can, if you had a bunch of joint values, if my arm is shaped like this, I can figure out the joint values of my elbow and my wrist and other places and figure out the location of my hand in space. But if I wanted to make my hand go to a certain place in space without knowing the end position but not the intermediate positions, I would actually have to back calculate the position in space and then back calculate each of these joints. And that's how a computer needs to tell a robot where to go. So in order to do that, you need something called inverse kinematics. Inverse kinematics takes the position in space that you want to go, that desired position, and back calculates each of the joint values. Now this is a fairly complicated process, but you can see our brain does it fairly easy. If I want to keep my hand in the same spot or on the same plane, each of my joints needs to calculate the location of that spot. But for a computer to do that, you need a whole lot of math. Now, the next video they're going to see actually shows a robot that they have done all the calculations and it actually draws something on a chalkboard. And that's why it's cool, and I guess here's the video.
Kick it.